Story 1. I don't even know where to begin. I always read posts on here about people being cheated on, but I never thought I'd be posting here. Ever. How could I end up being betrayed like this? I recently found out my girlfriend, 27, of 3 years, cheated on me with a guy from the gym. She blamed me for the affair, saying I didn't give her enough attention. Now I'm broken and trying to move on, but it feels impossible. Almost all our friends have taken her side, and they've already accepted the other man into our circle, even though it's only been like a week. I'm lonely, and I feel like I have no one to turn to. She used to tell me I was the love of her life, the most amazing and loving guy ever. Totally husband material. I believed her, but then she turned around and fucked some rough fellow because he showed some interest in her. We used to work out together, but I stopped going to the gym because the man she cheated with also goes there. Apparently, he and my ex had been getting touchy for a while, and some bros saw it. They told me, and I decided to snoop in her phone, found texts, videos, and confronted her. She blamed me, gaslit me, and dumped me. The next day, she made it Facebook official with the crook. One positive is she outed herself as a cheater to our families and friends. She went from dating me, a hard-working, decent guy with a stable income and a house, to dating this muscle-bound, tattoo-covered guy who works at a bar. I use dating lightly because I heard he moves through women pretty fast. I could have lived with the pain and tried to move on, but she became so mean after I found out and has been trying to rub my face in it. Most our friends were mutual friends, and she's turned them all against me, saying I'm some sort of abuser and her new man saved her from me. I do still have some friends who've taken my side because they know me, and also the timeline of her new relationship is sus. But I'm in a bad place mentally. I've been talking to a therapist, but it hasn't helped much. I feel like I have nobody to turn to, and I can't stop wondering if this is all my fault like she's saying. I go to work and try to act fine on the outside, but inside I'm breaking down. I need help. I'm down, and I don't know how to get back up. How do you move on when everything and everyone you once had is gone from your life at once? How do you rebuild when you feel so utterly destroyed? Any advice would be appreciated. Update. A couple of weeks ago, I came on here to rant about my situation. My ex-girlfriend dumped me for a big muscle guy from the gym and turned my friends on me, and from that point, I started making the necessary moves to handle the situation. I removed all her stuff from my place and dropped them off at her parents' place, canceled the debit card I'd given her, and messaged the friend group explaining the situation. Some of my friends came over to my side. Obviously, none of the women did. I've cut them off and blocked them. My ex showed up at my house out of the blue. She looked unkempt, nothing like the confident, haughty person who left me for her new guy. She wanted to talk, but I refused. She started crying, saying she made a huge mistake and she wanted to hurt herself. The guy she left me for is seeing multiple other women and made sure she knew about them, like showing her their videos, and even brought a woman over and had sex with her while ex was in the living room. She said she realized she messed up badly. She said she wanted to make things right with us again. I said no thanks. She kept crying and pleading, saying how sorry she was. It was a pathetic sight, especially considering how smug and arrogant she'd been when she left me. When she left me for the other man, she blamed me for not meeting her needs and acted like she was trading up. Now, she looked completely broken. It was a strange moment for me. Part of me wanted to tell her off, to throw all her accusations and excuses back in her face, but I didn't. I just told her through the door that she made her choice and now she has to live with it. She eventually left, still crying, and I felt a mixture of sadness and relief. Her visit made me realize that I'm starting to move on, even if it doesn't feel like it all the time. I still feel lonely and hurt, and it's still hard to see some of our mutual friends siding with her. But seeing her so desperate and broken made me see how far I've come. I'm not the one begging for scraps. I have my dignity intact. I've been continuing my therapy, and it's slowly starting to help. I'm also reconnecting with the friends who stood by me, and they're helping me see that this wasn't my fault. I was a good partner, and her actions were about her, not me. If you're in a similar situation, just know that it does get better, even if it's slow. Hold on to your self-respect, and don't let someone who hurt you back into your life just because they're having regrets. Stay strong and focus on rebuilding your life. Thanks for all the support and advice. It means a lot. Stay strong, everyone. Story 2. Hurting. I'm just over 4 weeks since D-Day, where I found my wife had been getting emotionally involved with someone else, and they had driven home from an evening together and kissed. The fallout from this was initially positive. We decided to give it a try to salvage what we could. We tried relationship counseling, which again appeared positive, but eventually it would return to me struggling with trust and her going back over why she did what she did. She did it because I hadn't been the greatest husband. I've been suffering with depression and anxiety for years, but only really acknowledged this a few months before D-Day and started to attend counseling for those issues. In the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's either been absolutely amazing with lots of affection and understanding, or us both falling to pieces. Throughout all this, whenever we did hit a bump, she would always return to messaging her EA. Last Sunday, we attended a friend's birthday and had some drinks. Bad idea in hindsight. And when we returned home, my wife said she wasn't attracted to me anymore and wanted to separate. This was 5 days ago. I'm not sure if I'm kidding myself, but I'm actually okay with the separation. What I'm not okay with is my wife now arranging dates with her EA so close to the final decision to separate. Unfortunately, we're having to cohabitate for at least a short while, couple of months at least, until the finances are sorted and I can get out. I'm hurting because of her behavior. We both need to focus on how this cohabitation's gonna work, with it being so fresh and new. I had hoped we could remain amicable and at least maintain a small ounce of respect, but I can't do that now. The hurt she has caused is just too much. My primary focus now is my 2 kids and myself. I've met and talked this through with some good friends, and I know this marriage is now toxic and needs to end ASAP. Any tips on how to try and stay positive, especially when I'm with the kids, as I can feel my mind is elsewhere when I'm with them at the moment. Thankfully, all custody and finances are being split down the middle, so I guess I don't have that to worry about. On a side note, the guy she's now involved with works where I work, and I have the potential to see this guy every day. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with in my life, but I know it won't beat me. Update. Marrying you was the worst mistake I ever made. In my recent face-to-face communication with my soon-to-be ex-wife, this old chestnut reared its ugly head. Since D-Day and the subsequent separation, my soon-to-be ex-wife and I haven't exactly seen eye to eye across a number of topics. Finances, behavior, logistics. Last week we were attempting to decide what to do with the shared vehicle. I disagreed with something she said, and she said these words. Now I'm at a stage where her words don't really register anymore when they're directed with venom. I try to pick out what I need to know and just ignore the rest. However, that stung. I do know it's a coping mechanism to justify her affair and ongoing behavior. Any disagreements bring it back to the forefront of why she decided to do what she did to leave, and it raises tension and anxiety. I'm fairly laid back now about the whole thing, and I'm dipping in and out of her orbit when the kids are involved. I'm at a comfortable distance, moving on with my life at the back of the room, while her shitstorm takes center stage in her life is like a film agenda. It's amazing how they can slowly and surely rewrite history about the relationship to ease their pain. The family trips, the weekends away, the enjoyment from simply ordering a pizza and watching a film at the weekend. How can she realistically regret those times? I know it's just words and all part of some plan she has to cope. However, I think it's total immaturity to trash everything. I'm glad to be away from her, and I'm making real progress in myself. It's unfortunate she knows what to say to cut me deeply. I know over time her power will dwindle, and I'll be free. Final update. A quick update as to where I'm at and how I got there. Friends, if you very recently the subject of betrayal, call all your friends and tell them the situation. Meet up with as many as possible and spill your shit. Some will offer a fresh perspective that'll help you heal. Some will just listen, and that's okay too. 180. It's well documented on the web, but search out and perform the 180. Not for any sort of outcome other than to heal and get closure. It's tough at the beginning, but well worth it. Not only does it help you move forward, but also drives your ex insane when they see you haven't crumbled or reacted like they thought you would. Social media. Get rid of your ex and any connections you have through your ex. Don't welcome more pain by giving yourself the opportunity to see something you don't want to. That can set you back a few days. The aim is to start your life fresh, and you can't do that until you have rid yourself of any self-inflicted reminders. Get a new haircut. I did this today after having my soon-to-be ex-wife's hairdresser just cut mine when she did my soon-to-be ex-wife's. Today, I went to a proper barber's for the first time in over 10 years, and I feel like $1 million. It's neat and styled and has given me confidence in my appearance. New clothes. Take $100 to $200 and go buy yourself something nice. New shoes, jeans, shirt. Buy what you would want to wear on a date if and when that happens. Take pride in what you wear from now on and always look your best. Soon-to-be ex-wife issues. So my wife left me. I went no contact apart from childcare issues and updates on finances. She's recently started to try to pull me back in and get me talking outside of my boundaries. Do not get suckered in. My soon-to-be ex-wife sent me something completely unrelated, and I stupidly responded. Within 3 messages, she was blaming me for her affair again. Find your boundaries and stick to them. Prospective dates. Soon after separation, I connected with a woman I used to work with. We hit it off, and then when I went to close the deal and meet up, she backed off. To her credit, she admitted she was cautious due to my situation, but I let myself get invested. Take your time, guys. There's no rush in anything at this stage. What will be, will be. Employment. So I've always been quite confident socially. However, over the last 12 months, I've suffered terribly with depression and anxiety, which affected my motivation and drive to advance career-wise. The huge life change has caused me to refocus on this aspect, and I'm thriving. I have a multitude of new opportunities which have only been presented because of my change in circumstances. Every cloud and all that. That's all I have for now. I know how hard this is, guys. I've been there. I was at rock bottom. It's how you react in the coming weeks and months that will define the rest of your life. Don't get stuck. Stay strong, and good things will happen. It sounds like you're making some really positive strides in your recovery process. Leaning on your support network during times of betrayal is crucial. Reaching out to friends can provide new perspective and much-needed emotional support. Implementing the 180 method is essential for your healing and closure. It's challenging at first, but it helps you regain control of your life and can even unsettle your ex by showing them you're not crumbling. Cutting ties with your ex and any mutual connections on social media is important. You need to avoid self-inflicted reminders that can set you back and focus on starting fresh. Stick to strict boundaries with your soon-to-be ex-wife. Limit contact to necessary topics like childcare and finances, and don't let her pull you back into unnecessary drama. Be cautious about jumping into new relationships too quickly. It's okay to take your time and not rush into anything. Let things develop naturally. Thanks for sharing your journey. It's inspiring to see how you're turning a difficult situation into a positive transformation.